Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. I'm Sanjay Banga. I'm president in Tata Power and I take care of transmission and distribution. Last, I would say 2, 3 months have been very difficult one for all of us who are working in power sector. And I have been connecting to all my friends and we have been discussing what is the impact of COVID-19 on distribution utility business. We saw government has come out with a package of 90,000 crores. And this difficult time, how utilities are working, how they are coping up with this new situation, how still our workers are making sure that the supply is on 24 by 7 in each and every home we are serving in Mumbai, Delhi, Ajmer. So tough time for all distribution utility, but what is more important for us to know how it has impacted our distribution business and how utilities are learning from this and what kind of utilities are actually surviving this scenario and making sure that they are least impacted. So let's start having discussion with how utilities are getting impacted and how Tata Power is in this situation is making sure that it is supplying power to 24 by supplying power 24 by 7 to all our consumers and how we are helping community in large for which the Tata Power is known as such for last 150 years, making sure that the community we serve is at ease. If we see when actually the COVID impact started, the demand had gone down by almost 30-40%. And last 15-20 days, we are finding again the demand is growing as the lockdown is getting eased in many states. Utility has been impacted mainly on two reasons. One, collection has gone down. So many state regulators said that they can commercial and industrial consumer can defer their tariff, defer their payments. So they stopped paying, and commercial and industrial consumers are those who pay more than average cost of supply. So whatever the little collection distribution utilities were getting were not able to manage their day-to-day business. So that's the big impact on that. The second impact it had is the revenue which is coming because of very low demand and the demand which was projected by utilities. The revenue collection this year will be low, and this low revenue collection will help will rather create problem for next year because this revenue has to be adjusted in next year if the distribution cost which is incurred by distribution utilities this year, so it will have adverse impact on tariff. So we may have situation next year when all state distribution utilities will have higher tariff or regulators will be forced to go for a tariff hike. If we see how Tata Power has been working for last 3 months in this difficult scenario, we adjusted a lot. And my salute to all power engineers in Tata Power working in Mumbai, working in Delhi, working in Ajmer, Powerlink, my generation colleagues who are making sure that's right from generation to distribution of supply, power supply is ensured. There has been lot of changes in our processes. When we saw the collection was low, we started calling consumer, telling them the pain of distribution utilities. We took a van and went to society and made sure that we take all care of COVID-19, face mask, hand sanitization, making social distancing. And we told them that please don't come to our collection center. Just we are in your society, please give us collection and we will collect it from a one location in your society. We made sure that consumer take just a photo of its reading and just WhatsApp that reading to us. We made sure that with minimum contact to consumer, how we can improve our collection and pay to all our business associates, all our contractors, all our vendors who are using migrant laborers, and making sure that we can minimize the migration of labor and labor gets enough payments for that. We ensured that not even a single contractor in Tata Power is deprived of his dues. Even some of those who were in performance-based contract like meter reading, we gave them advance by ensuring collection from our consumers. And we could not collect collection, even we took loan from bank and we paid to contractors to make sure that our contractors are not affected by any means in this COVID-19 situation. So taking care of our stakeholder is something very, very important for Tata Power as such. We find that our operating parameters are even better. And how? These parameters were better because we found that roads are empty. So if there is any fault, within 10 minutes you were able to reach. We made a special arrangement of vehicles to take our contractor laborers from their home. We took a special training awareness sessions for them to make sure that when they go back, they are not infected by COVID-19. What kind of precautions they have to take at home, what kind of precautions they have to take in office. In office, we ensure the social distancing. We changed the rota system, the shift system. We made sure that they don't travel much. So we made 12 hours as one shift and 12 hour another shift, and then the next day they were at home. So many changes in normal routine work and shift duty hours were changed. On collection side, meter reading was not possible. We made sure that with minimum disturbance to our all consumers, we send them correct meter reading or correct bills as such. Not even a single employee of Tata Power had shown any reservation in coming and performing his duty. All tough times, I would say night duty, evening, morning, 24 by 7, not a single complaint has come when we say we find that the employees are not coming and we have find employees are not performing, their motivation level is down. In fact, the most important thing which we observed, the employees were feeling more proud. They feel that this is the time they are needed most in this company. And this is the time they are required most in this company. And as a result of that, we find that performance level is actually at a higher level. They were performing at a much higher level. So employees, as everyone says, the biggest strength of any high performing company. It is proved in these difficult times that employees in uh, are actually the true strength of Tata Power. एंड सारे एम्प्लॉयज जो हैं इतना अच्छे से काम किए हैं इन डिफिकल्ट सिचुएशन में, किसी एम्प्लॉय ने ये नहीं बोला कि उसको प्रॉब्लम है. ईच एंड एवरी एम्प्लॉय सेड टेल अस व्हाट इज टू बी डन. We are ready to do double shift, triple shift. We are ready to work for 24 hours. 10 days back, we had a storming situation. A storm was there in Delhi. The way team recover from this abnormal situation of the storm, the way they restore supply in Delhi was amazing. Amazing to see the motivation level of employees, amazing to see the agility which was visible in employees. And I found each and every employee has actually given more than 100% to them. And Tata Power is proud of our resources, proud of these resources who has been working exceedingly well. Now, how Tata Power is able to do so well, maintaining continuity of supply, how it is ensuring that supply is there 24 by 7. Main reason for this has been, I would say, one, the employee are completely trained, capable of delivering, and are ready to raise to the occasion when it is needed. The second, the way technology has been deployed in distribution utility, and that this is one learning for all distribution utilities in India, that going forward, technology is a big savior. In difficult time like this, when business continuity is a question mark, technology is savior. In Delhi, in Mumbai, all grid stations are unmanned. We use all network control from central locations. So dependence on moving resources from one place to other or keeping resources at substation level is not there. We automated all our substations around 10 years back, and it has helped. It has helped us in having a complete visibility of entire network. It helped us to find out where the fault is, and we were able to attend those faults in minimum time. The second is on metering side. In Delhi, if you see all our consumer who are more than 10 kilowatt and last 2 years, our more focus on smart metering, we have been able to get our 70% revenue measured, or rather the billing done without actually visiting those sites. In Mumbai also, we have AMR for key consumers, and there the meter reading we need to go and take. So going forward, smart metering is one which is going to be there, more used in all distribution utility. But more than that, the continuity of supply in terms of reliability, more and more distribution utilities will go for automation. More and more utilities will deploy automation technologies to manage their network. While I am discussing with you, if you have any question or you want to know more about Tata Power, you want to know how we are coping up with this situation, I would love to have your question, and I would love to respond to those questions. But the way last 3 months, we find the demand has gone down by almost 30-35%, and it has affected the entire distribution chain as well. The revenue collection has again gone down by almost 50%, and this has impacted all distribution utility. I must appreciate at this time the very quick way the central government, the very quick way regulators, the very quick way CRC has come out with the new regulation and started helping everyone. They find generators are in problem because the discoms are not able to pay. CRC come out with new regulation. Then the discoms are not able to pay. How we make generation sector still survive? They made sure that the discoms get a loan from REC and PFC and the 90,000 crores package which has come uh, in very quick response from government in that way in handling this situation. Even the state governments I am finding coming out with different mechanisms like bill discounting, factoring, the mechanism like less interest on our payment to generation, giving some moratorium period in some of the states I have seen. This is actually helping. So all stakeholders joining hand to come out of this COVID-19 situation is really is a showcase of how the power sector fraternity is actually working is this time. In Delhi, we saw demand is gone down by almost 50-70%. We saw the collection was also down to that level, and this was mainly in commercial and industrial policy. Commercial and industrial consumers, residential consumers are still paying us. But if we see again how distribution utilities in next phase after COVID, we'll see the post-COVID phase, what they are going to learn more from technology. One technology is one part. They will learn out of this technology, the technology piece, and they will implement that. But there is a big learning for government. There is a big learning for policymakers in this, and which is very important. And what is the learning? The learning is if you keep the tariff difference very high between commercial and consumer and industrial consumer and residential consumer, then you are having to face problem like this. And this we have seen in last 3 months when commercial and industrial consumers were not paying and distribution utilities are actually in financial stress. Going forward, this has been very well captured in national tariff policy, which is to come. And I heard a lot that they're making sure that the cross subsidy is reduced. The Amendment Act 2003, which is coming, is again ensuring the regulators which are actually were not complying to tariff policy, because tariff policy was more of a guideline as such and not mandatory for regulators to follow. So now what new electricity amendment act is proposing that SERC has to comply to tariff policy, and tariff policy is making sure that the tariff which is for commercial and industrial consumer and for residential consumer, there is not much difference. So actually, the consumer will get bill, which is average cost of supply of power to these consumers. Which means even if some consumer is not paying, but whatever you are getting at the cost of supply. So if the demand is goes down, revenue goes down, but still you are able to manage in that way. The way government has proposing Electricity Amendment Act 2003, the way tariff policy is coming, and way our finance minister has recently announced privatization of union territory, it looks like clearly writing on wall that this sector needs improvement, and for improvement of this sector, actually the private sector participation is required. Uh, and once the private sector participation comes, then the operation efficiency will go up, the commercial efficiency will go up, losses will come down, and as you see the losses coming down, you will see the tariff will also come down. And going forward, what I see, yeah, I foresee the tariff in time to come will go down in all distribution utilities. We may be at the highest tariff historically at this point of time of 11 rupees or 12 rupees for industrial consumer. But if you see the cost of generation of renewable with 3 rupees and the cost of supply of power around 2 rupees, there is no reasons more than 6 to 7 rupees should be tariff in time to come for all industrial and commercial consumer. And for lower level economic strata, we understand there is a population which actually cannot pay, and if the government wants to give them subsidy, all valid reason they should get some support from government because they are in that kind of economic situation where they cannot pay. And in such situation, what is proposed in Electricity Act Amendment that they will get direct benefit. So instead of subsidy marked and bill and utility gas payment for that, and it will be directly given into the account of customer. He will be made more responsible that he is getting subsidy and he should pay subsidy. So many of the cases we found where the address issues are there in customer premises, those will be in time to come will be addressed, and consumer will be getting 24 by supply because the utility if supply more and the tariff is better than cost of supply, then the utility financial condition will improve, the private sector participation will ensure the loss level are down, operational efficiency is better. So 24 by supply, 24 by 7 supply at lower tariff with efficient system is what I really foresee in next 2 to 3 years. In fact, if I say that the entire distribution sector is now at the cusp of transition, I may not be wrong. This is the first time in distribution sector I see the kind of activities which are taking place both at the state level as well as central level are very positive, and I see really distribution sector working very good in next 3 to 4 years. The way it's shaping now, and the quick actions with state government and both the central governments are taking. Coming to a point that how Tata Power is getting more and more involved with communities during this difficult time. So uh, we always say when we supply power, actually we enlighten lives of our consumers, and we just don't want to supply power. We want to make sure that the community which we are serving, that community gets benefit, and if the moment the economic condition of community improves, the country improves, our business will run. So it's not the business first, it's the nation first. And if I take you back for a few minutes to history of Tata Group as such, there are many few companies in this world who survived more than 150 years, and all business which Tata Group started actually started when nation wanted those businesses. It's a company, it's a group which stands for nation building. When Tata Power came into existence, it came into existence through hydro. So when Mr. Tata observed that there is a lot of hydro potential from Pune to Mumbai highway, when he saw the waterfalls, he said, why not we generate clean power and reduce pollution in Mumbai, where the mills culture was there? And that was a thought that 100 years back. So kind of foresight, the kind of vision Mr. Tata had at that point of time. This hydropower plants which were set up 100 years back, we had never imagined those will be so helpful. Even when the PM had a call at 9 p.m. of load reduction, those hydro actually served us to reduce the steep demand, to cope of that steep demand. So 100-year-old hydro plants ensuring clean energy is what Tata Power started 100 years back. Again, with the purpose that nation should have no dependency on foreign country, it should generate power and it should go for industrialization, reduce pollution in Mumbai. And same is the case with Tata Steel when the Tata Group thought that the country had to have steel for infrastructure development. When Indica was produced, it was a thought that why not this country should produce its own car. That was the thought. So every time when country needed something, it's a Tata Group came forward, and so it's a group which is known for nation building. It's not a group who was there to do business and profit making. So it's a group who served this nation, who helped in building this nation, helping in building this nation, serving community, and in that way, it's getting its own share of pie. So in last 3 months, the way our group has involved in serving society in many different ways, and I will not discuss about the way 1500 crores from Tata Group and Tata Sons came, but from Tata Power, if we see in Delhi, we all government hospitals we served food from Taj hotels to all doctors to make sure that the doctors who are really God at this time and the way they are serving this nation, let's do what we can do, and we tied up with Taj and we served Taj food to all our all government hospitals, to doctors and then to patients also. We served around 300 meals and helped the Delhi government that how we can help you in that. Our own program of Dhaga, which is in Tata Power, started producing masks for public, and we produced masks and started distributing those masks to public. In Mumbai, we started serving many consumer in different way. We provided face masks, we provided protective equipments, how we can help them in community front in Delhi, in Ajmer, in Tata Power Trading, which is a very small company. If you see in Tata Power, for we started distributing ration to migrant laborers to make sure that whatever we can, whatever Tata Power Trading can do, let's do that from that side. So ensuring that community is requiring Tata Group services at this point of time, ensuring that whatever we get from community, how in a better way we can give back to community, and that's what the Jamshedji Tata's vision was, that giving back to society is what the business purpose is. So that's how we started working in last three months extensively with community and made sure that we are working with community in that way. I'm good to see a lot of response in our discussion with you. I really would like to see more. You want to know if you want to know more from distribution sector about Tata Power, how we are working, learning you can have from Tata Power, uh, the way our employees are working, in the way they have come out with different innovation mechanism to ensure that the business continuity is there is something which is I would say is commendable. And uh, I personally feel very proud to be associated with a group who actually believes much more than just doing business, just doing business. The definition of business in Tata Power in that way, or in Tata Group in that way, is much bigger. Uh, I had one question related to the impact of technology on distribution utilities, and uh, uh, what distribution utilities in India immediately after post-COVID, what they should do. And I was discussing on this point also in a different platform, and I said that this distribution business, if you see, last 10 years. particularly after infusion of renewable energy, has no more administrative business. It's not a business where you just do governance and set up right governance, and this business will be performing. It's a business which has now have tremendous infusion of technology, and it is making systems so unstable that only implementation of high level of technologies can make this system work. So when on the one side you have renewable, which is informed power, making grid completely unstable. On other side, you have a consumer who is coming out with battery solutions, battery systems, and who is coming with rooftop solar. Then with these uncertainties, how a distribution utility can forecast its demands, how utility can manage its reliability, how it can ensure its profitability with a tremendous variability in demand and forecast not being so accurate. It's only technology. It's only technology, and technology to the lowest level. And with the smart metering, I would say this is where you are actually pinning the last point of automation. When you are seeing the customer behavior and you start taking individual customer as a special consumer, and you are considering his requirements not in a generic way, but knowing what he wants and coming out with a plan to serve him better, is where you actually go in normal traditional utility business to a consumer business, because each consumer is you are started addressing in a very different way. It's not just simply supplying 24 by 7, but it's much more than that in terms of satisfying consumer. So technology right from your system starts. If your system starts, let's say at 66 kV level or 33 kV level, then automate complete system, have complete visibility of power flow, complete visibility of operation of this network. So wherever there is an outage, a control room person should know where the outage is, and do I have a redundant path from where I can make power supply available, and ensuring that the power supply is made available from the alternate source within minutes. And that's possible. The world over, if you see the European utilities, the US utilities, they do it. Their biggest problem is the kind of storms which they have. But in normal operation, I still recollect I was there in Italy with my colleagues and having interaction with Enel utility. In entire Italy, number of complaints in a day were around 150, whereas in India, distribution utility has thousands of complaints every day. So the kind of maturity in their system by using technology to ensure if there is a sub outage within minutes it is restored and customer doesn't call. Now, if you go for 63, 33 kV, 11 kV outage, on the downside, when you install smart meters at each consumer level, you are able to predict where the faults are. And when you know where the faults are and having redundancy in supply, there is no reason why we should have our reliability index, which is steady in hours, not in minutes. We have utilities like Singapore, we have utilities like TEPCO, where their yearly outage time, or the SAIDI, if I say, is hardly 3 to 4 minutes. So even if we consider the kind of constraints we have, the kind of network we have, there is no reason we should have reliability parameters which goes in hours, not in minutes. So technology right from a 66 kV level to down below, going consumer for smart metering, I think this is the way forward utility will have. And the other thing which utility will have to have is the inner capability to manage this technology, which is very important, and which was the reason why in APDRP, when revised APDRP, we found many technologies were implemented, but these technologies, when they were implemented, they were not, in fact, maintained properly, and now they are they are, I would say, is out of their life cycle. So having a good capability in distribution utility to manage this technology, manage these kind of technologies, the inner strength of utility in time to come should be built up by all distribution utilities. They should make sure they are using technologies, they go for digitalization. Dependence on human resources should be less, and resources should be used more and more in analytical purpose, and only for If there is a fault and that fault is to be attended, like a cable fault is there, the cable is has a joint break, then the person has to go and attend it. So those kind of needs should be catered by resources, but otherwise the meter reading, billing, the ensuring the community pay on digital mode is something what distribution utility should try. We saw in Tata Power 95% payment in COVID time has come from digital payments, and before that it was 75%, and it was one of the parameter for all senior management is how they are promoting digital payments. So when you start this journey of digitalization 2 years back, 3 years back, 5 years back, then the impact of COVID to that extent is minimized. So technology going forward in all sphere of or all parts of distribution business will be, I think, more adopted by all distribution utilities. Regulator will also support it. Ministry of Power has come out with a program where they want smart metering is to be done, and they want, in fact, prepaid smart metering is to be done to also make sure there is no theft. So first consumer should pay, and then they should use that power. So in that way, they are ensuring the consumer is connected, he's consuming power, and his power consumption is known. There is a question which says that what are our plans for Odisha, or how we are planning to do Odisha business. So once we start Odisha business, Odisha is very different, and Odisha always feel when I interact with my colleagues in power sector, this Odisha utility, once we transform it, will actually will give clear sign to policymakers how distribution utility business should be in India, because CESU or Odisha Discoms, which we will be which will be uh, helping them to transform, is a typical distribution utility with a consumer mix of rural, urban, industrial consumer spread in 30,000 square kilometer area, which is much bigger than Tata Power Delhi or Tata Power Mumbai area. It's a true representation of a distribution utility in India, and in that way, if I say our learning of Tata Power Delhi of last 18 years, our learning of Mumbai in terms of mixing transmission and distribution and competition, that kind of customer centricity we have there, they all will be applied in Odisha. But more than that, since it has a rural mix, there will be new ways of involving community in business. There will be new ways of involving self-help groups. There will be no new ways of collection mechanism which will be used. But what will be ensured that each and every household is metered, each and every household is getting 24 by 7 supply. Uh, our first motto and our first task going there would be to make sure the consumer pays or he doesn't pay. He should get 24 by 7 supply. He should get a good customer care center, and if he wants any service from Tata Power, that should be available on his fingertips. He should have a person of Tata Power to whom he can talk freely, and he should have all digital ways of connecting with Tata Power. Once we are making sure that we are giving him 24 by 7, once we are making sure that we giving him all avenues of payment, once we are making sure that his meter reading is read properly and he is distributed bill properly, I'm very sure the consumer value it and he pays bill. uh, Only when he finds that he is getting less than what he is paying, the value which he is getting less than what he is paying, is where he defaults. So it will be more uh, learning of 18 years of Tata Power Delhi, Tata Power Mumbai, connecting with consumer where he feels part of utility, involving with community to make community better, and then we expect that he will pay for bill, and he will pay for bill. Our experience in Delhi, our experience in Ajmer, his consumer pays for bill. The moment you connect with him, you talk with him, you tell him the value, you need to tell him how this money is used. You tell him the tariff is something which not in control of utility, but it is the power purchase cost which is getting reflected mainly in tariff. Consumer pays. The moment he has trust, moment you involve more with him in different social platform and he starts trusting you, he pays his bill well. And there's yes, there is a certain percentage of customers who actually we dealt in a different way. So enforcement department and others who will be dealing with them. But I'm very sure the kind of culture which Odisha has, uh, I don't see problem in collection. I don't see problem in billing. I feel employees I find of CESU are very competent, and we will be just going there to facilitate their working, to make sure that what they need in terms of their better performance, that those are available. So store is having enough material, even in case there is a outage, so material is available. The right contracts are in place so that when they need any help from contractors labor is there. All a robust billing system is there. Will make sure that the discom has a very good consumer indexing, each consumer is billed rightly. All in facilitation in terms of technology deployment, all facilitation in terms of empowerment support will be provided, and I'm very sure in business in Odisha will see a new turn in the next 2 years itself, and that will give and that will be more satisfying then, because it will give a clear indication to policymakers that how distribution business actually should be run in typical distribution utility in India. So that's our plan for Odisha as such. So many questions are there on Odisha, and I see many plan on Odisha, and I see I think I have responded them well here. There are questions that as a young engineer, what are the chances they have in Odisha? So Odisha will have recruitment of engineers as we go there, and then they will be selected on the basis of company policy as such. But yes, to run for distribution business in Odisha, we will be requiring few resources, or more resources as the situation comes. We have not gone there. Right now, we have not taken over there. The situation is difficult, but once we start supporting CESU, and when we start doing business there, definitely we will go there. There is also a question which I see from Hari, is what are my thoughts on privatization of UT? See, the distribution business in India is a state subject. So even if center wants to do, it can come out with some scheme to support them. But even if it wants, and the state government doesn't want, the distribution sector cannot be privatized. So this is a basic fact, and that's why when Delhi was privatized. It was privatized because the chief minister of Delhi thought that it's enough. The losses are 55-60%. It is actually denting the state budget in a big way. The state is not able to spend much on infrastructure in terms of health and education. So why not this sector should be given to private sector, and the state government budget, the tax which they collect from public, should be used for a better means. And once they did that, they have no allocation on power sector. This Delhi government doesn't have any allocation on power sector except a few years back when they started subsidy. But still, that amount is much less than what other states are losing in terms of losses. And many times we say that the Delhi government in last 15 years, if they are able to spend more on health and education, is because they saved a lot from power sector. This year, in fact, we gave them dividend, and we are very proud to be one of, I think, one or few distribution utilities in India who are paying dividend to state government in that way, and that money which we are paying is used for state development. Now, for privatization of UT, as I said, the distribution business is a state subject. The UT is all electricity management is done by department. So there is a um, if you take care of Chandigarh, there is electricity department who manage that, and that comes under central government. UT comes under central government. So yeah, it's an excellent. I would say a move. What we call in management is led by example. So the central government has said, okay, I'm privatizing UTs, and UTs are J&K, then Chandigarh, Lakshadweep, Andaman, Damandiu, and Damandiyus, they have a very good consumption in terms of industrial and commercial. So there are good cluster if you see in these UTs, which are as good as size of any distribution utility. And but their performance in some of the utilities is good, and some of the UTs is good, and some of the UTs are actually uh, not good. So if you see J&K, the loss level is almost 50%, and the billing efficiency is poorly part the collection. Chandigarh is still at around 12 to 15% in between, but seeing the Chandigarh city, it should not have a loss level of more than 5 to 6%. So 8% loss on the revenue will come in saving in crores, more than 100 200 crores, I would say. Now, considering that it is easy for central government to privatize these UTs and uh, save money. So whatever the money which goes from central government side in funding these utilities to build infrastructure, or in J&K it goes in a very big way in reducing losses, because the loss funding is done by central government. That money will be saved, and the private sector will bring its own money. They will reduce tariff to an extent where it will become single digit 7 or 8%, and that steep reduction in tariff will lead to reduction in losses, will lead to reduction in tariff in much bigger way. And as I said, the going forward, once you see the power purchase cost goes down, the overall tariff in UT will also go down. So I would say it's a wonderful step by central government. It's a kind of led by example by central government. And as these are privatized and as benefits are reaped by central government, those will be shown to state governments, and state government, I think, will be at that time will become more active. For uh, involving private sector distribution companies. Somehow, many times I find this word privatization in India is also having a negative connotation, but the fact is, it's not like that. It's not like that. If in a regulated business, if we want to bring operational efficiency, if we want to bring commercial efficiency, then it is good that it should be private sector should be involved for that. I see one more question on what are the major challenges for any distribution utilities in long term. Uh, so in long term, if you see, there has been a lot of discussion on a word called death trap in distribution utility. And why this word has come, it says that as the tariff is going high because of uh, uh, losses are not coming down, and the industrial and commercial consumer are paying more, they will go either through open access, or they will, on those who are not having more than 1 megawatt demand, they will start installing solar, and their consumption will go down. And as their consumption will go down, the impact of that will be on residential consumer. And if the residential price go up, then they will opt for rooftop solar. Clubbed with this is the battery price, which is now virtually coming to almost 15% every year. It is coming down, and it is expected it will go to $100 per kilowatt hour in the next 2 3 years. If that comes, then battery plus solar will be around 5 rupees per unit. And if the tariff is more than 5 rupees per unit, then most of high consumption consumers will go out of distribution utility, and distribution utilities will be just managing network, and for that network they will be getting wheeling costs. So it will be more of a network management company, consumer will be going to other mode of consumption. This is what is known as death trap in distribution utility discussions which we have. But if you see the way renewable is getting more and more, and the grid connected renewable, actually the power purchase cost in time to come will go down. And as the government is coming out with new policy where they say the average cost of supply should be charged to all category of consumer, and the great impetus on Make in India drives, and particularly after the impact of COVID-19, Atmanirbhar, I'm very sure the price tariff will have a trajectory which will be going down, and that will make discoms sustainable in long term. So long term, if you ask me what the discom should do, I think they should go for a big optimization on their cost structure. They should use technology to reduce costs, they reduce operational costs, and they should also, once their long-term PPAs are over, the power purchase this cost should reduce, and reduce to an extent where the consumer, even if he goes for open access, he should not get better price. So if the discom has to now compete with such players who where the alternate power is available, whether it's from renewable side or it is from open access side. If discoms cannot be competitive to that extent, they will extend. So challenge for distribution utility in long term is how they can reduce tariff one, and how they can engage more with customer to have more customer centricity, because as we see more and more communication, more and more consumer connected with this world, their expectation has gone up. And as their expectation has gone up, they don't expect utility to only serve 24 by 7. They want utility to serve the way they want it themselves to be served. So they want not one tariff structure. They want 100 tariff structure designed to their requirements. However, ensuring that the distribution utility also on. So the way you see tariff structuring in telecom sectors, where it is more and more um, user friendly, in next 5 to 7 years, you will find electricity tariff is also moving in that direction, and it will become, it will have more play for customer requirement in that way. This is one area I would say customer centricity where discoms have not done well all over India. Uh, yes, on the Tata Power side, we make sure that the customers are always at the center of all our business. But I really disappointed the way customers in electricity utility business in India are treated. Uh, not in a way the customer should be treated the way distribution utility treat them. There is another very good question: what will be the impact of new tariff regulations, and most of the industries are locked down? How can we sustain? So I said in my beginning remarks, this year revenue of all distribution utilities will go down because the demand has gone down, so revenue collection has gone down. As the revenue collection has gone down, uh, the cost, the distribution cost, which was part of that revenue, is not recovered. So if it is not recovered, the same will be recovered from next year. So we don't expect next year demand growth will be 20% or 25%. Historically, if you see Delhi, Mumbai, it's 2 to 3%. So 2 to 3% increase in demand, but here is a dip of peak months of around 20% or 30%. You need to recover that revenue from next year demand, and for that there is necessarily uh, either the cost of distribution utility should come down, or the tariff should go up. So if those utilities who are already at the benchmark level in terms of cost optimization, then the tariff increase is the only possibility. But if the distribution utilities can reduce their losses in next 8 months or 10 months by 7-8%, and making room for extra revenue absorption in next year, then it's okay. But most likely, what looks like since all the distribution utilities in India are more or less controlled by state discoms and their losses have not come down and it will not come down because of low demand. There is every possibility next year there will be tariff hike. So 2021, 22, we will see tariff hike in most of the regulators. Going for that until or unless we find the state intervention is there or some other form of subsidy comes, tariff hike it would be there, but the subsidy will come from the state government to help consumers. But this is how I see scenario. Uh, there would be one or two utilities who have termination of their long-term power purchase agreements and they go for exchange prices will be low, or they go for renewable energy contracts where they reduce their power purchase cost, then it will have less impact. So all utilities actually should work on their optimization on power purchase cost. They should work on reducing their opex, uh, and that's the only way how they can control tariff. Otherwise, next year the tariff hike is imminent for all distribution utilities, is what I foresee. There is another good question that power customer behavior in utility is same across globe. Our experience in TPDDL will be of immense help to improve performance of Central Odisha distribution utilities. Of course, the learning of Delhi distribution, learning of Tata Power in Mumbai and Ajmer, where we 3 years back we started our business, and we saw losses have come down from 20 to 21% to 9%. The way we engage with customer will definitely going to help in Odisha. A general, if I generalize this part, then you will see and it's a good read for all of you if you read the Prayas report on customer behavior in UP, where a big chunk of customer or high percentage of customers are saying we are ready to pay more if we get 24 by 7 supply. So that's a very good indicator that many times we actually take customer in a wrong way. And there is a study by Harvard where it says that any sector which is not organized or any business which is not organized, it's the poor who pays maximum cost. So when you see a weekly hart where a sabji wala has a one selling, he has one bulb, a LED bulb. He pay around 25 rupees for that day to a contractor. Whereas he consume hardly 2 units, so he should pay how much? He should pay only 8 to 9 rupees, but he pays 25 to 50 rupees for that. Same is for all situation where the sector is unorganized. So I'm very sure when the distribution sector, the customer centricity comes, when competition comes, the one who will be benefited most will be consumer. And this is the case with Delhi. Delhi is a utility in all three utilities. If you see, the cost of power in Delhi is maximum in India. If the Delhi get cost power purchase cost, which is similar to Odisha or similar to even Mumbai, then the tariff reduction could be as high as 30%. In Delhi, power purchase cost is 5 rupees 50 paisa, and Mumbai it's 3 4 rupees. In Odisha, it is 3 rupees. So 3 rupees versus 5 rupees means 40%. So 40% tariff in Delhi can come down only if the power purchase cost comes down. So historically, because of the higher power purchase cost agreement which was there 20 years back are still continuing, and consumer is paying for that. But going forward, as those power purchase agreements will not be there, that you will see the tariff in Delhi will come down because the maximum power purchase would be from exchange or from renewable. So going forward, as I said again and again, the power purchase cost or the tariff will go down in Delhi. There is a question on subsidy of tariff. Subsidy is there are very varied thoughts on subsidy. The fact is, there is a layer of so there is a layer of society who actually cannot pay, and there is nothing wrong if the state government who failed in providing opportunity to them, who failed in creating jobs for them, can give them some subsidy. But that's if the state government can afford it, that money should be used for that. But it should not lead to a problem for distribution utilities. So most of the states, when we see the subsidy dispersal mechanism is not there or subsidy is due, then that's a problem. That becomes that makes the distribution sector unsustainable because the utility is giving subsidy, but it is not getting that support from state governments and is not able to manage its day-to-day business. That is wrong. But if the state government has money and it wants to it feels that it should support the lowest economic strata. That I personally feel there is no harm in that. Many big developing countries support their business by different form of incentives also, and it's a responsibility of this country to take care of lowest strata of society. Yes, nothing wrong in that. So I will take one or two question more. There is a question on. Uh, Impact on renewable energy business. I'm not the one actually who is too much into renewable. I'm more like a distribution and transmission and of course their experience of generation. But renewable business has been impacted, and what I have been hearing is the supply from China, which is now getting regularized and will improve renewable business. But the way supply has been impacted in first 3 months when you had the Wuhan virus in January, February in China. So January, February, March, the last quarter has been badly impacted in terms of supply of panels from China and India. Most of the panels are we get from China. So that's now it getting recovered. Going forward, I see very good potential for renewable energy. I see hybrid renewable power plants coming up, and battery will be playing a major role. I see the new regulations are coming even for the green power trading, which will help discoms to in fact meet their RPO. And renewable will having separate energy exchange in time to come is a great move in that way. So renewable business is I see is a very high potential business in power sector in time to come. So there is a question on decentralized distributed generation in India and what is the future of it. See, there is a guideline from central government that each and every household has to be connected, and there was Sobhagya scheme which was launched for that. And it's a scheme which has been appreciated world over. Even the World Economic Forum has given a special appreciation for this. Each household in India is connected, so you have great connectivity. What you don't have is a supply to those households. So even if they are physically connected, but you don't have supply for them, and that's a problem. And that is where we have been discussing for last 1 hour that how private sector will ensure that you give 24 by 7 supply. And first time we are finding in act it is coming as the 24 by 7 supply has to be provided by distribution utilities, or there could be penalty for distribution utilities for that. So that's a good move. Now, having said that, what is the future of decentralized generation? I think decentralized generation is a parallel uh, options where a consumer find he's a better cost benefit or a business point of view. It is makes sense to have a decentralized or go for decentralized operation. It will go for that. But in a very big way, if I see that happening in India, it may not happen that, but that's my personal views. The reason being, it is more apt for African continent where the population density is very less. The country is not electrified. It's still 30 to 40 or 50% country is electrified. Now connecting to a remote end consumer, whether it makes sense to take grid to that point or at least should have a distribution decentralized generation. I think there we have better cost economics. So you will see in African continents more and more use of decentralized generation will be there as compared to India as such. So there is a interesting question, and I would, but because of the paucity of time, I will just pose it with one simple short answer. There is a scope of parallel utility business can be explored in future. See the parallel utility business. If you lay a network or if you duplicate network, it's a wastage of network resources. So my personal opinion is there should be one network provider only. However, a consumer should always have choice. So there should be more and more retailer who should be able to provide options to consumer where he can take uh, power from company A or company B. So in telecom, you will see towers are shared, right? And but the retail and you may be taking connection of Airtel or Vodafone or Idea, but the tower on the back ends are shared. That's what is the infrastructure optimization. So in India also, I am very strong views that network should not be duplicated, and this country cannot afford that much expenditure when it has so many other problems in hand to solve. So network should be one, and a retailer should have a choice, and he should get power at cheapest cost. He should get power, quality power, and he should get uh, 24 by 7 supply with good quality at lowest cost. And it's the job of distribution utility to make sure that they supply power at the lowest cost possible, quality power and 24 by 7 supply. So thankful to all of you. Uh, Good to interact with all of you. I hope I have answered most of your questions. In case you want to discuss more, my personal email ID is sanjaybanga@yahoo.com. You can send your questions, and I would love to have take this discussion forward. Thank you very much, and take care. Stay safe. It's a difficult time for humanities. Take all precautions. Take my special request to all power sector workers, power sector employees that please take good care of you. You are as valuable as you. We have doctors in ICU. You are the one who are keeping India alive. You are the one who are keeping each home lights on. You are the one who actually this country depends on. So keep performing in the same way you have been doing in last 2 3 months or difficult times. Otherwise, you are doing it right from the way you have joined company. But going forward, I would say your importance is very high, and the way you are doing it, I salute your spirit, and we all are proud of you. Thank you very much. Goodbye.